Hi, this is Amir and Zor from Tech Destination Pakistan podcast. And today we have a really special guest, Adam Parsons, who's in Michigan, I believe, from a partner in Bravo Global Staffing. And he's known as the Pakistan guy. He believes in it so much. That's what it's written on his LinkedIn profile as well. And so, Adam, firstly, introduce yourself and how you came to be the Pakistan guy.
Yeah, I appreciate the introduction, Amir. Adam Parsons with Bravo Global Staffing. Yeah, so we're a staffing firm. I became the Pakistan guy probably like 90 days ago, when I blew up on LinkedIn. But the story and my motivation behind Pakistan, my passion, started much longer. Probably two years ago, I would say, when Pakistan came on the map. Back in peak COVID, my current partner and I, we were in real estate at the time, and we had offshore talent from the Philippines. It was a call center. We were calling homeowners all across America, and we were into real estate and wholesale. During that time, we had we did sourcing on Facebook groups, things of that nature, and a couple Pakistan sisters actually reached out to us and was like, "Hey, can you give me a job too?" As a cold caller. Broken English, not real great as far as like accent goes, but they were very persistent, and we said yes. We said yes, let's do it. So they were actually embedded with a team of about 30 Filipinos, which is quite differently. Today, our team is primarily all Pakistani. Um, but yeah, then you fast forward, real estate got tough here in the United States. So my business partner and I were like, hey, what else are we good at? We jumped into marketing, and when we jumped up into marketing and stood up a marketing company, we were like, hey, where in the world do we want to source our talent? We're very familiar with what we can get in the Philippines. We've done recruiting and so forth at this point in Latin America, and we landed back in Pakistan. And so that was about 2 years ago. We stood up our marketing company. It was great. And then we were eventually like, hey, let's get into staff and just place in talent into other companies, particularly US based companies. Um, and yeah, that's kind of how I fell in love with Pakistan. I got to come into work every day and work with approximately like 20 other Pakistanis remotely, and yeah, I just fell in love with Pakistan through the people I'm around the most.
So what is it like? What did you find pros and cons and cultural differences in Philippines and Pakistan? And yeah, what is the good aspect, and then maybe what's the aspect that we as a country need to work on? Because of course we're generalizing and being a bit racist by saying, this is the generalization. But what did you feel about the generalization if you were to say that?
Yeah, so I think and I still have a lot of teammates in the Philippines. I think when I look at the Philippines and then Pakistan, and I try to generalize the two, Philippines, we've seen a lot of success when it comes to customer service and things in those industries. And they're also like very soft spoken and kind, and um, their mannerisms are in line with, like, they won't ask a bunch of questions, they'll just get the job done. And when we jumped into Pakistan, our first couple hires, I make a post about this, and people think I fake a lot of my posts, but it's absolutely true. This guy just kept pushing back and questioning. And it wasn't that he was trying to be hard-headed or go against kind of our vision or our directives. He just wanted more information. He wanted more clarity. He was taking ownership in it. And you could also see more leadership attributes come out of Pakistan as well. Um, uh, a lot of direct authority, more sales roles, more A-type personalities definitely come out of Pakistan as well. If I had to like generalize the entire country. Um, and I really, really enjoy that. And most industries, those are the skill sets you need. And in the roles and stuff that we're placing this talent in, those are the traits and the skill sets you need in those roles too. And then I think, I've had the opportunity to talk to really small operators and some really, really big giants in Pakistan when it comes to employment. And one thing keeps coming back. I would say like work norms. Like you made a post yesterday about showing up on time, and it sounds so easy to get done and to do, but I would say like culturally, it's still got Pakistan's got this like easy come, easy go. If I need off tomorrow for a wedding, like I should just be able to request off today and my boss will give me off tomorrow. And unfortunately, most of the world isn't prepared for that type of like, oh, you got a wedding tomorrow. So I would say just like um in Pakistan, it's like some cultural work norms that need to be overcome. Another I again I would say these aren't cons, but it's just growth. And as Pakistan becomes more entrenched into the global workforce, I think it'll definitely improve. Another one would be like staying with a job for many years. Um, a lot of people I come across that you'll see 6 months here, 3 months here, another 9 month internship, maybe a year. And they're jumping around. And when I ask them about it, they go back to, hey, mom and dad thought it would be a good idea if I didn't stay in the same company because then it shows that I'm stagnant and I'm not growing in my career. Um, and that's just as far as like Western work norms, that's not true. Like you can have an awesome career over many, many years if you stay with the same company. You take on responsibilities, you get promotions, you get extra pay along the way as you work up the ladder, if you will. So I would say that's another huge one, especially these larger companies that are trying to retain employees and they don't even get a shot. They just find out like, oh, you're leaving to go to another place in 2 weeks. So some of that like workplace loyalty, I would say still needs to be found within Pakistan.
Is that not maybe more generalistic about the global younger workforce, Generation X or whatever the millennials?
Yeah, you can definitely see it in many, like even in the United States, you can see them jumping around. It's definitely not on the same um, timeline, if you will, when it comes to the talent I've seen out of Pakistan. I can only speak on my behalf here. I served 17 years in the army before I was like, hey, I'm getting out to do real estate and staffing full time. And then I've been with Gray Line Investments now, shoot, for maybe 5 years now. as well. So it's just, taking on more responsibilities, getting those promotions if they're available along the way. And then of course, if those aren't happening along the way, you can also get pay increases along the way too.
And
Uh,
what are your tips for hiring good people? I mean, you must be interviewing a lot of people and hiring talent. What's like some patterns that you see in that when you're hiring from Pakistan, you ask these types of questions and you get that kind of response?
Yeah, I have an awesome team. That man, we had an individual yesterday on our team. She said she had 40 interviews for the day, and I used to do that when it was just me and my partner doing all the hiring. And man, 40 in one day is really incredible, and your brain gets mushy at the end of the day after talking with that many people. Um, I think it starts with the communication when the invitation gets sent out, and so we use a registry. Sometimes it's a direct to job application as well. But many of our applicants, they're on a registry, which is kind of like a waiting list. It's our pool that we can go to that we know need jobs. They're interested in getting our communication and open to other roles. We review their CV. I would say have a complete CV and have it updated. Like there's no sense to give put your CV out there and the last time it was updated was 2 to 3 years ago when you took your last job. So just update your CV, and then when it comes to your we have a 1 minute video. I would say just be um have it more of like an informal video. Like we can tell when someone's reading off of a teleprompter or off of their phone screen or a piece of paper, and it sounds like ChatGPT. Like just humanize yourself because that's what we want to see um, during the 1 minute video. And then, man, what else? We send out the invite for all the shortlisted candidates, and I would say like it really begins there, like as far as like opportunity goes, is like just be a proper communicator. Like if you can't meet the time that the HR sends out, like just say that. Like don't try to make it work or hope that it'll work and just agree to it and then it doesn't. Like just try to move the date, the interview date, or time, so you are there on time. We have so many applicants that just um, they'll either show up to our first interview, not on time, or they'll go to the final interview and then they're just not there. Either internet's not working or there's a power outage. So I would say if you're trying to apply for a job, make sure you have backups for all of that and get in front of the screen just like you and I did this morning to prepare for this and be really proactive. The minute Zoom didn't work, I was in your LinkedIn DM saying, "Hey, it's not working." So like I encourage them to have that like same proactiveness when it comes to communication. Um, and then I would say like make sure your scheduling actually aligns with the needs of the role. And again, it goes back to like don't force it. Like a lot of people need jobs out there. And so when you're a university student and you have, two freelance jobs on the side, and now you're applying for a full-time role at a company, like there's no shot you physically make that work. So just don't agree to it because it always gets uncovered 2 weeks down the road that, okay, this person's working a couple freelance jobs on the side. They've missed meetings, or huddles, etc. And they're just really distracted and really busy. So I would say just like don't over leverage yourself when it comes to that.
Wow. Okay. That's great advice. So, what kind of careers do you think are good for young people nowadays? I mean, you've got AI, you're dealing with some of the uh, best tech, you're using Slack and other tech. What kind of careers do you think are good for people coming in or graduating these days?
Yeah, I made a post the other day like there's this fear out there like oh my gosh, AI is gonna replace humans and I just don't think that's true. I think AI is gonna give humans a bunch of tools and resources to uh be more efficient in their job, to be more effective in their job. And I would say, one, use the tools and resources that AI is providing us. Be a user and be knowledgeable on that. I think when we look at Pakistan's talent, I would say between 18 and 35, like there's a huge population of young talent coming into the workforce in Pakistan. Just embrace the AI. Don't be anti-users. And I see that a lot on LinkedIn is like, oh, you're writing your posts with ChatGPT, etc. And you should be. You should be. And then when ChatGPT gives you the post, like you need to make sure like it's humanized as well. Um, so I would say that. And then in as far as like industries go, I like being in the States, I'm a firm believer in like blue collar industries still. Like AI can't change my plumbing on my house. AI can't fix my HVAC, right? So I would encourage and you know again I do place Pakistani talent remotely into some of these companies, more back offices and so forth, administrative roles, finance, things in that nature. But like even in Pakistan, I would say try to get into some of the trades. Those are pretty moated when it comes to like, am I going to get replaced by AI? They're pretty well protected. Like I said, there's not going to be an AI bot going to the house to hook up HVAC or check the plumbing or the electrical or anything of that nature. So blue collar jobs are great to get into. And then just tech in general. Again, we go from um, back offices, finance roles, administrative assistants, executive assistants. I I would personally try to strengthen yourself to become more of a generalized um, virtual assistant and try to scale up. If you were starting off as a virtual assistant, work your way up to have more of the skill sets of an executive assistant or become more niche as far as like in what industry real estate, are you in finance, etc. So that's kind of my take when it comes to like, hey, what industry should young people look into?
Okay, great. And what sort of you basically offer virtual assistants and all these roles? How do you go about doing this business?
Yeah, so about 90 days ago and I've been posting on LinkedIn for I've had sprints where I'll post for 6 months and they're just, there's no strategy behind it and I just put it out there and um I try to play the game on LinkedIn. And then about 90 days ago, I had this aha moment and I was like I am gonna try to make LinkedIn work for me, and I think I can I think I can get all the talent our staffing agency needs, and I also think I will be known as if there is a US based company. looking to offshore from Pakistan or potentially another country, they will come across my profile and I will be the subject matter expert that they can reach out to and make it happen. So 90 days ago, I posted a map of Pakistan. Since then, I posted many maps of Pakistan, but I posted a map of Pakistan. It blew up. I started strategizing ever since then. Um, we get a ton of inbound applicants for the staffing company, Pakistanis that are looking for roles, and then we use a registry, so they're able to click on the link. They can see all of the jobs and roles that we're currently active and we're currently staffing. A lot of people think like it's a one-to-one thing. So like if there's one role up there and it says bookkeeper, they think there's only one spot. We might be hiring for like 3 to 7 bookkeepers. Um, and then we also have the registry. So let's just say you're a school teacher, you're looking at our roles and you're like, Adam, I don't see a school teacher role. Great. You can apply to our registry, which is just a generalized registry. There's no current role open. But then when our my staffing firm does have a role open and it fits your profile, we will shortlist your profile and interview you in that manner, just like everybody else. So then they apply. My staffing, my HR, I should say, my recruiter goes through and make sure everybody has all the information that was needed. And if we find that you're a strong candidate, but let's just say like your CV isn't updated or your 1 minute video isn't a great video. Maybe you shot it in the back of an Uber or something in that nature. We'll just ask for that information again. That recruiter will then prepare you for the first interview. The first interview is with my team, and she'll ask you a bunch of questions, look at your CV, relate it back to the company and what the company needs that we're our client that we're looking for. And then typically, like she said, she did 40 applicants. She might take 4 of those, 3 to 4 of them. She'll select the best, and then we'll take those and we'll present those 3 to 4 in front of the client for a final interview. We provide the client with the 1 minute video and the CV. We don't say like pick this person over this person. We literally present them with 3 to 4 people. We schedule a final interview, and then the 3 to 4 job seekers will get in front of the client that is looking for the talent and present themselves. At the end of the interview, um, job seeker will drop off, and then our talent rep will, ask the client like, "Hey, is this the person do you want? Do you want us to go back and look for more, etc." So that's the process in a nutshell as far as like the job seeking side of it goes.
So, okay, great. And what's sort of the minimum that you charge out at that clients go through?
Yeah, so we have two. All right, so I want to make it very clear because there's a lot of bad actors, and I understand the why I get some of that as well. People think I'm this fake mysterious person on LinkedIn. Some people think I'm Pakistani and stuff, and I can assure you that I'm not. I don't have anybody riding my account either. So if you get a reply from me, it's like from me. Like nobody's got my logins. So it's everything's coming from me. All the content's coming from me. All the DMs, all the messages you get. If I'm, I get hundreds of DMs a day. I do try to answer them all. LinkedIn does have a terrible messaging. Like you can't just like easily keep track of people in LinkedIn. It's kind of poorly set up. Um, but yeah, we have so to bring us back, I do not charge Pakistani talent for anything. Okay. So if there's anybody out there that says they are me or they're doing it, or they're doing this, I would just question the authenticity of that. Um, we should not be charging Pakistani talent to place them into companies. That they're already bringing so much value, one to my organization, right? I wouldn't have a business if I didn't have the talent. And then two, they're already providing the client or the end employer so much value. So just don't charge. If you're out there, don't charge for place in employee from Pakistan. Okay. So how does Adam get paid? I charge the US based client for a placement. We have two models where we have a placement fee that really ranges between like what industry you're going into. Obviously a generalized executive assistant, I wouldn't be able to charge nearly as much for that person getting placed into the US based company as I would as an engineer, software engineer. So there's variations of that. And then the second model would just be like an hourly rate. So I charge the US based company X amount of hours, and then we take care of the pay when it comes to um, the Pakistani talent that we placed into that company. And yeah, clearly there's a gap there. There's a spread, I should say. There's nothing secret about what we do though. It's very common. So again, there's two methods, the placement fee or the hourly rate.
And how do you make the payment to the Pakistani talent?
We use Gusto. That's what we use. So we use Gusto. I know some people use Pioneer, Wise. Again, we've got access to all these different payment methods. As anybody that's hired out of Pakistan understands, like, hey, the Pakistan banking system can be a little bit tricky. But we've found that for the most part, Gusto is like the easiest to work with.
Okay, excellent. Okay, and I'm assuming you haven't actually been to Pakistan yet.
I haven't.
Is that
I
on your bucket list or you're not so much?
No, it is. 100% it is. I when I say um I love Pakistan. My wife is like, man, you eat South Asian food way too much, man. So yeah, it's definitely on the bucket list. I've been invited to speak at a couple conferences later in the year, December, January. If all goes well, again, we've got teammates in Karachi, Lahore, Islamabad, all over Pakistan. I need to see um doing awesome remotely as well. So
And
um
you have an office or it's all remote? All your staff is remote.
all remote, yeah,
Yeah.
at the moment.
And do you use tools like Time Doctor or something to monitor, or it just goes on trust?
Trust.
Okay.
Um For me personally, we have, you mentioned Time Doctor, but we have recommendations and clients that some clients they want to use those type of methods. I've always hired off of the trust aspect. It
Hmm.
comes down to like if I can't trust you, then what are we doing, right? So I'm a huge guy on trust. I give a lot of it. Once it's broken, it's really hard to make it right again. So I would just say like do the right thing even when nobody is watching. That's kind of what I use. Um, we haven't really had any kind of um, um, issues from that model either. You know, like I said, occasionally we'll get a person that says, "Hey, I need to go to my cousin's wedding in 2 days," and I'm like, "Well, okay, you could have gave me more notification than 2 days, but go enjoy your cousin's wedding." And I do that because like I know if I don't, like they're just gonna go to the cousin's wedding anyways. I know how culturally it is. So
Yeah.
again, I'm really in touch when it comes to culture and things of that nature. But yeah, I would love to come to Pakistan. And hopefully by the end of the year, like I said, I've got a few speaking invites to do at a couple conferences. I've had um, a couple of people reach out to me from the Pakistan Export Software board as well. So yeah, I'm excited about the opportunities ahead.
You put up a post about having Pakistan on the American map,
Yeah.
Pakistani. Well, can you explain what that was?
Yeah, so like some of the stuff I do is just like LinkedIn bait and Pakistan is only, I think like 11% of the size of the United States. It does not cover the entire United States. In fact, I think it's like Texas, and it's the size of Pakistan is the size of Texas and Oklahoma combined. So, um, I really just did it to bait. There is a lot of other posts out there where they'll take Greenland and there's different type of maps and stuff out there where it makes countries look super big, but because of the map that they're using and so forth. But that's the only reason. And I just try to keep sharing my story to as many I'm trying to get Pakistani talent to sign up, but I'm also trying to get clients. And so my job here is to be like, hey, I've got this huge Pakistan network, but I also need clients. And so a lot of the posts I do is really to educate um, U.S. counterparts to be like, look, I know you looked in the Philippines, I know you looked in Latin America, but oh, by the way, there's this country called Pakistan. You might be familiar with it. Okay. They're super educated, very talented. They speak English. Um, like start looking there. Um, yeah.
Okay. And if you had to give advice for someone that wants to start a business with Pakistan, what would you give them? What would you say to them?
Do it. Do it. Like, reach out to me. Reach out to me for your first 1 to 3 placements and go from there. Like really understand the type of person you're gonna get from Pakistan. So I always say like start with 1 to 3. Anything more than that, you'll have a little bit of a culture shock. I think we just made 13 placements in one company. It was their first time sourcing from Pakistan. We placed 13 people into their company, and there was a little bit of a culture shock. I think they're still like struggling um, there. But I would say like start with 1 to 3 key people that you need, build your team, and go from there. We've got people on our team now that have been with us for over a year. So I told, I said, hey, have some company loyalty. Again, we've found that in Pakistan. So they've been with us more than a year and or been with us since we stood up, I should say. So yeah, that's what I would say though. Just make the move, go against some of the narratives out there on Pakistan. Like they're just outdated at this point. That would be my advice.
Awesome. Okay, Adam, thank you so much for your advice and your thoughts. If people wanted to get in touch with you or follow your business, where could they reach you?
Yeah, I think LinkedIn is the best place. You can probably search me at Adam Parsons on LinkedIn. And then I'm over on Instagram as well at Parsons0927. But for the most part, use LinkedIn. It's probably my most professional outlet that I have.
Perfect. Adam Parsons, who's been doing business in Pakistan and knows the pros and cons, and he's chosen he could have been anywhere in the world actually, and he's happily doing business in Pakistan. Thank you so much for your time, and we'll catch up next time on Tech Destination Pakistan. This has been Amir and Zor with Adam Parsons.